Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Okay, we are seeing now this Manīṣā Pañcakam. 5 verses, Pañcakam. Manīṣā. Manīṣā means my firm, strong conviction. This is my firm, strong conviction. What is my firm, strong conviction? Well, in the story we saw last time, Bhagwan Vashyakar, Bhagwan Shankaracharya, encountered a sweeper, and either he himself or the disciples told the sweeper, Gacha, gacha. Gacha means you get away, get away. And the sweeper retorted with a very nice question. Who will get away from who? What will get away from what? This body made up of 5 elements will get away from that body which is made up of 5 elements, or the consciousness which is here will get away from there. That consciousness and this consciousness is same, and the whole world is pervaded by same, all-pervasive consciousness. So what will get away from, that is what it is actually, is tantamount to saying this space should move away from this space. That is a contradiction. So when the sweeper, who is himself, we saw, who was himself the Lord, everything there is only Bhagavan Shiva playing a whole Leela. So that gave occasion to Bhagavan Shankaracharya to break forth into verses. He broke forth into these 5 verses which we have to see now. Now before we see these verses also, it is said that the 5 verses are explanations of or elaboration of the 4 Mahavakyas. Then why 5? There are 5 verses here and there are 4 Mahavakyas. Well, so these 5 verses is to elaborate the 4 Mahavakyas. Well, something is wrong with all the numbers in that statement. Wrong with all the numbers means what? They are not 4 Mahavakyas. They are plenty in plural. Mahavakyas, many Mahavakyas are there. 4 means 4 have been chosen from 4 Vedas. 1 from each Veda, 1 each from a Veda. So 4 have been chosen as representative of all the Mahavakyas. So this is the first thing which is wrong with those numbers. Not 4 Mahavakyas. Second thing, there are 5 verses which speak about the 4 Mahavakyas. Well, the first 4 verses speak about the 4 Mahavakyas. Last verse speak about Ananda only, bliss of realization, like that. So when we get there, we'll see about this Ananda and all. Or we might have to see before. So the first 4 verses speak about the 4 main Mahavakyas. Now what are these Mahavakyas and what is a Mahavakya? Mahavakya is Mahancha Vakyacha. Vakyascha. The Mahavakya, that which is a Vakya which is great. So then what makes it great? So that is the important point. What makes Vakya means a statement. So So what makes a statement great? Well, a statement is made Mahan because that statement is, or Vakya is, relating the most important truism or truth about this individual Jiva and the absolute reality Brahma. It is relating the most important truth about Jiva and Brahma. Jiva Brahmaikya Bodhaka Vakya iti Mahavakya. That is the idea. The Vakya, which is a revealer of the oneness between Jiva and Brahma. Jiva Brahmaikya Bodhaka Vakya. So, if the Vakya doesn't do this, it is not Mahavakya, that is the idea. It doesn't reveal the oneness between Jiva and Brahma. Sometimes say Jiva Ishvara. Huh? There's just a little technical difference, not big difference. So, Jiva Brahma Aikya. Jiva Brahma Aikya Bodhaka Vakya. Bodhaka means which reveals, which tells, which relates, which teaches, like that. Huh? So once the Vakya is doing that, the statement or the teaching is doing that, it is called as Mahavakya. If it says that Sat is permanent and Asat is temporary, it is not Mahavakya. That is not telling anything about Jiva and you will see so many things. Nasat, na asat, tatuchyate. That thing is not sat, no? Asat. See, even though it is telling a truism about that, it is not Mahavakya. Huh? So, Mahavakya is that which reveals the oneness. Jiva Brahma Aikya Bodhaka Vakya. So now, this is why it is classified in the Shastras or by the tradition as Mahavakya. Second thing now, I told there are many Mahavakyas. So these four have been chosen as representative of all the Mahavakyas. So which four have been chosen? Now that I will tell you. 4 Mahavakyas have been chosen. One Mahavakya is called as Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma comes from the Aitiriya Upanishad, and the Aitiriya Upanishad belongs to Rig Veda, who many claim, or most claim, is the oldest of the Vedas. Rig Veda. Now what is a Rig Veda and Upanishad and all? Many times people are confused about those simple things also. See, first of all we have 4 Vedas. So the Vedas themselves consist of a great big portion of it consists of all rituals and all. And another great big portion consists of all upasana, means various forms of meditation. Meditation means not like symbolic, metaphorical meditations like that. Huh? Then there is the last part of the Upanishad, which consists of all philosophical teachings. Basically, ontology, which is something called metaphysics, and epistemology. Mostly, both actually equally, means what is the nature and structure, true nature and structure of this universe, which will be metaphysics or ontology, and how exactly do I know something, that will be epistemology. Who is knowing and what is knowing? What is knowingness and all that? And epistemology and metaphysics in Vedanta are inseparable, as opposed to Western teachings. So, that last portion, which is called as Upanishad in the Vedas, are many in number. Now, I see, you have only 4 Vedas: Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva. Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. These 4 Vedas are there, but while the Vedas are 4, the Upanishads are many. So how? It means that in one Veda, like in Rig Veda for instance, you will have more than one Upanishad at the end. So for all of them, you will have many, many Upanishads at the end there. You see? So in one Upanishad, one Veda will not only have one Upanishad. That's how you end up with so many Upanishads. Some say 108 Upanishads are there. But there are many more. Actually, I have a book somewhere with 254 Upanishads. And many got lost. So if so many got lost and we already have 254, imagine how much was there before. So, at the end of these Vedas, there are Upanishads. So at the end of Rig Veda, one of the Upanishads they call as Aitiriya Upanishad. In that Aitiriya Upanishad comes this Mahavakya number 1. That is called as Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. That will be dealt with in the first verse. Consciousness is Brahma. Then, number 2 Mahavakya comes from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of Yajurveda. So, that Mahavakya is called as Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi, which you have heard. I am Brahman. That's a big Mahavakya. Most people say that Mahavakya is egoistic Mahavakya. Because he's claiming I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Brihadaranyaka of Yajur. Then, the next Mahavakya number 3 is called as Tattvamasi Mahavakya of the Chandogya Upanishad of Samaveda. So this is number 3. Tattvamasi, thou art that. And the last one is called as Ayam Atma Brahma of the very famous Mandukya Upanishad of Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda. These Mahavakyas also, Ayam Atma, this self is Brahma. The individual self is the absolute self. So, these Mahavakyas have also been given names. Now I'll tell you about their names. Because all 4 of them are called Mahavakya. So, they are distinguishable by certain names also. So, the first one is what? Ayam Atma, Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma Mahavakya of Aitiriya Upanishad, Rig Veda, is called as Lakshana Vakya. Lakshana Vakya. Lakshana Vakya means it is a Vakya of definition, if you want to say. Defining Brahman. Of course, that is a big task to define the reality. Lakshana Vakya. It is a Vakya which is pointing out the essential nature of the reality. The essential nature of the reality. Lakshana Vakya. Then, Aham Brahmasmi is called as Anubhava Vakya. Some people say Anubhuti Vakya. Anubhava Vakya means Vakya of one's own direct experience. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. It's called as Anubhava Vakya. This is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of Yajur. Number 3rd Mahavakya is called as Upadesha Vakya. Upadesha Vakya means that Vakya which is the Vakya of instruction from the Guru to the disciple. Tattvamasi, thou art that. Upadesha Vakya is called. And lastly from Mandukya Upanishad. So that is Chandogya, number 3. From Mandukya Upanishad of Atharva Veda. Mandukya Upanishad we will be taking later on in January. So you will have to come back for that if you want to see that whole thing. So there, in the Mandukya, the Rishi says, Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atma is the absolute self. This individual self is the absolute self. Ayam Atma Brahma. So that Ayam Atma Brahma is called as Anusandhana Vakya. Anusandhana means if you have to translate, it's a Vakya of self-discovery. It's a Vakya of self-discovery. Like that. Anusandhana means taking the mind in the direction of one's own self to discover one's own nature. Anusandhana. Right. So these are the 4 Mahavakyas of the 4 Vedas which have been chosen. I'm sorry, they have only been chosen. Who chose? We don't know. Many people chose. When somebody, see, this is one more thing about this tradition. When somebody does something great, 2 things. When somebody does something great, 2 things is, that person who does that great thing, if that thing is great, he doesn't put any copyright on it. If that thing is great, it means it came from a great person. And if that person is great, he will not put any copyright. It will just be. You see. So one person would have chosen, said, this is a really good Mahavakya. And the other one said, Sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu means? Good. That thing is so wonderful. I like it. And he said, you are right. Otherwise, in today's competition, no, if he chose that Mahavakya, I would choose another one to outdo him. That is what happens in today's world. This one says sadhu, sadhu. Aha, wonderful. Like that. So like that, the tradition over a long period of time, the tradition has. Now see, meaning, look here, even Bhagavan Shankaracharya, who was writing way back in the 7th century, 8th century, that time, is these verses, Vidyaranya Swamiji, Sukha Rahasya Upanishad has described these Mahavakyas. So another Upanishad is describing the Mahavakyas. So that means the Upanishad which was revealed later is also explaining this Mahavakya. Means it would have been chosen very long time. We don't know when. So now these 4 Mahavakyas will be taken up one by one in the first 4 verses in the same order in which I gave. That order you have to keep. And the last verse will be Nandati Nandati Nandatyeva. Means the joy of, the bliss of Ananda. Right. Now let us see this. Number 1. I'll chant and you try to repeat these lines. Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sputhatara yasam vidujrimbhate ya brahmadi pipilikantatanushu prota jagat sakshini Saivaham nacha drishyavastviti dridha prajñāpi yasyāsti chet chandalostu satu dvijostu gurudityesha Manīṣā mama. You have a sandhi there and you don't know where to stop. If you don't know where to stop, the best thing is just go till the line ends. Sometimes the tune finishes and there's still some letters left. Or sometimes the letters finish and the tune's still going on. So then you go, like that. Because there are no letters left in your tune is not yet finished. Anyway, so what is the Mahavakya? Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. So in the Mahavakya, how many terminologies are there? 2 terminologies, Prajnanam and Brahma. And I told you that this is Lakshana Mahavakya. It is Mahavakya of definition. Defining that reality is called as Prajnanam. Prajnanam means consciousness. Consciousness. The Mahavakya is describing. It's talking about consciousness is Brahman. Or if you say consciousness is Brahman, that means you go the other way also. If you are defining something like that, consciousness is Brahman. Brahman is consciousness. Either way you want to say, it will turn out to be the same. So, it is called a Lakshana Vakya. So, this verse is describing this. Consciousness is Brahman. Now, let us see the meaning of all the words. If consciousness is Brahman, which word is consciousness here? I am not seeing any Brahman consciousness here. Brahmaji is there. Brahmadi Pipilika. The word in the first line, which is samvid word means consciousness. Like Satchitananda, Chit is consciousness. Here the word samvid. You seeing samvid? Samvid means consciousness. It's feminine, and therefore everything in the whole verse is feminine. Ya, sa, ya, everywhere. Because everything is following that samvid. So that is how you know. So this word is describing, this verse is describing this consciousness, which is Brahman, which is called a prajnanam. So some people get really bewildered by the fact that these rishis, they have so many names for the same thing. And when that rishi leaves this world, his disciples then make 1,000 names for him also. We are real good with names, Names. And everybody, there is no person who will come out of any Indian home and he doesn't have more than one name. If his name is Ram Pyare Lal, at home they will call him Bantu. Or Munnu. Or Munnabai. Something. They will always have some. Well, that is because the scriptures themselves describe this whole universe as nothing but names and forms. Nama Rupa. Nama Rupa Prasarana. The whole universe is like that. Made up of names and forms. So what? We revel in names. No problem. So how many words now? See, Chit. Sat-Chit. Ananda. The one word for consciousness. Chit. Then just now in the Mahavakya. Prajnanam. Brahma. Prajnanam. Consciousness. Now in this one. Samvit. And don't think we are over. Chaitanya. So many words. This will go on and Shuddha Chaitanya is consciousness only. So, see, in Gurudev's name, Chit is there. Chinmaya. Chinmaya. Chinmaya is Chit. Chit. Chin is Chit. Because of Sandhi it became Chin. So, the word now is Samvit, consciousness. So he says, Jagrat. Jagrat means in this waking state. Swapna, in the dream state. And Sushupti, and in the deep sleep state. Sputatara means very clearly, Ya Samvit, that consciousness, Ujrimbhate, which plays or which manifests. that consciousness, ya, and that further, that consciousness, ya samvit again, you'll have to always put samvit wherever ya sa is there. Ya samvit brahmadi pipilikanta tanushu, in the body of Brahmaji, who is the one responsible for manifesting this whole universe. Brahmaji, all the way down to an ant. Ant means not like aunt and uncle. Ant means, pipilika is a little ant that walk in the ground. So from Brahmaji, all the way down to a little ant. Prota jagat sakshini. Prota. Ya samvit prota. That's that consciousness which has been woven into all of these things. It is consciousness which makes up even from Brahmaji all the way down to an ant. Jagat Sakshini, which is that consciousness, I say Sakshini, which is coming feminine, to match the something. That's that consciousness which is the witness of this whole Jagat. That is the idea. Sa eva, I say sa is there again. Sa eva aham, that only I am. But that what? That consciousness only I am. Nacha drishya vastu iti drita prajnapi. This is what I am, this consciousness. Nacha drishya vastu, not this all seen things. Now all the terminologies are very, very nicely put together. I am not the body, mind and intellect which are seen, in other words, like that. Drita prajna api yasya asti. The next, from there now to the end is telling, if anybody has this knowledge firmly planted in his mind, if anybody is of this knowledge, drita prajna api yasya asti. Yasya asti means whose knowledge is like this, who has this knowledge. Chet chandalostu, even if he is a chandala, that sweeper, whatever, dog eater, if he is a chandala, satu dvijostu, or he is a very learned brahmana. Guru iti esha Manīṣā. He is my guru. If he is a chandala or he is a learned brahmana, he is a guru, he is my guru, and this is my firm conviction. In other words, what the turn of events which happened there, suddenly now, when same chandala who he was telling, gacha gacha, gacha gacha. Now he is saying chandala is my guru. How things turn. But if Bhagavan Shankaracharya, it is Bhagavan Shiva, Leela is very nice, because now he is going to bow to himself only. Because the chandala is him only. So he will bow to himself. Because now the chandala is the guru. We have to bow to the guru. And when he finished, bow to himself, he go and get darshan of himself over there. Because he was going to Kashi Vishwanath to get. I love this story so much. This is a drama of one. He is the director, he is the actors, and plural. The director, he is the whole cast. One Lord. Anyway, so now we have to see. I just told you the word meaning, na? All of these things. So ya samvit, that consciousness which sputatara ujrimbhate, which is there, manifesting, playing as the waking, dream and deep sleep, as all the states. There are two things which are or the first thing which we have to understand is, it is easy when we say that the world or the universe is Sat, existence. Because all I have to say is, this exists? Yes. My finger which is touching it exists? Yes. I exist, yes. The space exists, yes. But you can easily see that there is existence everywhere, right? So when we start saying that the universe is made up of existence, well, that is not so difficult to see that, because there is nothing which you can show me which doesn't exist. And if you go deeper into that thing, every part of it exists. And suppose you go deeper into any object and you see that it is made up of atoms. And let us say, so you have one atom here and one atom here. And you have a little space inside between the two atoms to make up the object, let us just say. Even in the atom itself, the nucleus is here and the electrons are way over there, right? So nucleus is here, electrons are way over there. So there is a big space between the nucleus and the electrons. The space exists or not? Well, again, you're back to existence. And there is a distinction between the nucleus and the electron? Yes. Distinction exists or not? Well, distinction exists. How you're talking about it? It has to exist. So when everything is resolvable into pure existence only. Everything is resolved, broken down finally into existence. So this existence is easy to see. But when it comes to Chit and Anand even more now, as you go, Sat Chit, Ananda, and no wonder the rishis put it like that. They could have put Chit Sat Ananda, Ananda Chit Sat. That also would have been a nice rhyme. Ananda Chit Sat, you could make a bhajan also. But they put Sat Chit, Ananda, the easy one comes first. So here it says, it is that consciousness, Samvit, which Ujrimbate is playing as, manifesting as Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti. In Jagrat, what we see, all this visible, empirical universe in front of us, right? Whatever, all things we see. This is Jagrat, waking state. We see all these material things in front of us. Where that material thing is nothing but the play of consciousness. This is the first thing. Second thing, in dream state, when we see new world, you see a new world in dream state, nah? With one of you playing inside a day. In that dream world, you yourself create your own tiger, and you create one of you only in that dream, and that tiger chasing you. Because only you can see the tiger, your neighbors don't see. So you made it up in your own mind. And those of you who have studied, I'm sure in your study groups and wherever you are, you would have studied the different texts and all, like Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, Ityadi. So then you would have studied there that whatever impressions we collect, Vivek Chudamani and all, we collect from the waking state, we keep those impressions, and when we go to sleep, one part of the mind sleeps, there is another part of the mind which makes up all this dream now, with the impressions gathered in the waking state. And some people say, but no, I never saw an elephant flying in this waking state. In my dream I saw an elephant flying. But in your waking state, you saw elephant and you saw flight. So in your dream state, you become very creative. You superimpose flight on the elephant. So you get Dumbo. Dumbo is his name? Dumbo. And then, in the next state now, in the deep sleep state, what is there? One unbroken, unadulterated, limitless sheet of pure ignorance. Even if the sansar comes to an end, you don't know that time. Isn't it? Deep sleep. Sushupti. So now, the three states are nothing but the manifestation. Just recently somebody was asking, so you mean Brahman, or the consciousness, Samvit, is manifested as all the things in the waking state. That same samvid is manifested as all things in the dream state. And that same samvid is manifested as ignorance also. Well, if there is only aikya, if there is one thing, so what would manifest as the ignorance then? This is the first question. If you are talking in your Upanishad about aikyam, and in deep sleep there is pure ignorance, what second thing is there to manifest as pure ignorance? That question should not have been asked. You may ask how, but the fact that the reality could, there's also in the question. See, if the reality cannot, if that pure consciousness cannot manifest as ignorance, that means there is something which the pure reality is lacking. The capability or possibility of manifesting as ignorance. If it is lacking something, then you should stop chanting the mantra Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacharya, because that thing tells that reality is Purna. Purna means complete, completely complete in every conceivable way. So if it is lacking a capacity, a capability, is lacking any possibility to manifest as ignorance, well, it is not Purna. If it is not Purna, well, the reality has a shortcoming. The reality has a shortcoming, a deficiency, a defect, a dosha. Well, if the reality has a defect and you could point out one, well, you don't know how many more might be there. Well, we are in trouble then. Because if you find one defect or deficiency or dosha in Bhagavan or in Brahman today, tomorrow you may find a second and a third. So, the reality has to, necessarily has the intrinsic, innate capacity to manifest as everything in the waking state, dream state, and the deep sleep state also, which there is manifest only as pure ignorance. And that a capacity missing, that would have been some real trouble. Innate, inherent. So anyway, now, how consciousness is to be understood as manifesting as everything, playing as everything? Well, just as you have to do an enormous amount of vichar to understand how everything is sat. What do I mean by enormous amount of vichar? You think. There are a few of you sitting here, right? And you're listening to Vedanta. You are not the 7.5 billion people on this earth, isn't it? There are 7.5 billion people on this earth. When they get up in the morning, do they think about Sat? Anybody gets up in the morning thinking about Sat? He might think it is Saturday. So today is a holiday, which actually it is. We don't have to go to work. In Trinidad we say go to work. Go to his job. He doesn't have to go to work. So, nobody gets up thinking about Sat. In other words, people, 7.5 billion people on this planet, nobody does vichar. Everybody gets up in the morning thinking about his job, his money, his livelihood, his children, his insurance, his stock market first. He checks the news to see, what the president said today. Let's hear this. If he says this, the stock market will go like this. If he said this, the stock market will go like that. These people get up only checking these things. And especially if he has some investment. He gets up fast to check that. And all the Indian people living in this part of the globe, on the Western Hemisphere, they get up to check Indian news in India. And if at Trini travel anyway, he's checking Trini news. So this is what people do in the morning time. Who gets up to do vichar? said, no, Swami, there are many devotees. The devotees also. What he does, before the night before, he sends an email and he sends a text message and you get up to see if the person reply. This is what? Vichar and all about Sat. So now there are few people out of all the 7.5 billion people will do some vichar, reflection, contemplation on Sat. Right? And then only after a long time thinking, because well, I'm hearing this word Sat, Sat, Sat. What is this Sat, Sat, Sat? Then he does vichar for a long time, he may come to understand this existence principle which is there in the universe. Otherwise, ordinarily, people don't think about this existence principle and all. If to get the easy one, which is Sat, one has to do a lot of vichar, and that's a rare person also. What to talk about Chit now? So it is Sat which has manifested as everything. Now that Chit. First thing, Sat and Chit are not two things. Sat and Chit are one and same. Sat is Chit and Chit is Sat. Means existence is consciousness and consciousness is existence. So if in the beginning itself now we hold the two to be one and same, it's just two names of one and the same thing, then if you could understand how everything is Sat, well, in the same way everything is Chit, because the both of them are just two names for one thing. But now there is such a thing as I am aware, I am conscious, right? I am aware, I am conscious. So here's now a model for you to think, because with our mind now we can only think in terms of models, and we can only think in terms of concepts and ideas and all of that. So here's a model for you to think, an idea, concept for you to think. Now see, to you, to each person, you have to think for yourself now. I'll just prompt you to think for yourself. To you, I am only a thought in your mind or not? Well, that is true for everybody. You are only a thought in my mind. Because data is coming through my eyes and then go to my mind, and then a thought of you is registered in my mind. In the very same way, when I think about you, you are a thought in my mind. Every other thing in this universe is a thought in my mind only. Correct or not? And if I take one of that thought and I start dissecting it, it will be made up of infinite number of thoughts. Because when I look at you now, you'll have a head, a nose, eye, all of those are thoughts in my mind. You'll be of this color, of this race, of that height, of this gender. So many, everything is just another thought in my mind. And the easy way to say that now is, when I say you're a thought in my mind, I say I am aware of you. Means that thought is made up of awareness. I'm aware. I know you. I'm aware of you. The thought in my mind which makes you up, that thought is only made up of awareness. And every iota of the thought also. In other words, that thought is only a modification of consciousness. Thought is only a modification of consciousness only. So then what? My universe is a modification of consciousness, because my whole universe is represented to me as thoughts. So my universe is made up of consciousness. So there is only one universe for me. I have to think from my standpoint now. I cannot think from your brain, from your mind. So from my standpoint, this whole universe is made up of thoughts in my mind. Now when I go to sleep, this is Jagat. Jagrat Vishwa is this here, right? When I go to sleep, but again, my whole dream world is only in my mind. And when the mind gets blanked over totally by ignorance in deep sleep, means when I go to sleep and I dream, second one, and when I go to sleep and in deep sleep, and it's blanked over by ignorance, that time I am aware of nothing. Still aware of Nothing. People could be in this state also and be like that. Sometimes some people sit like that and they're watching the space. Have you seen? They sit like that and watching the space. One father took one boy for surgery, and the doctor kept him on the operating table there. And then doctor pulled out a long needle. The father said, what is that? The doctor said, when I give him this, he'll not know a thing thereafter. The father said, what did he need to give that? Now also he doesn't know anything. Some people like that, they just stay in the space. I don't know. So, that time the mind is, the awareness is still there, but the mind which is responsible for, the mind is the apparatus, mind is the upadhi. That upadhi which is responsible for knowing individualized things, that upadhi is now covered over with another upadhi. What is that? Pure ignorance. So the upadhi doesn't know any particularized, individualized things. But awareness, which was supplying the wherewithal to that upadhi, that awareness is still there. Just that the upadhi has gone into a different state where it is not able to manifest any particularized piece of knowledge. That is all. So, the awareness is still there. So now, in the waking, dream, and deep sleep, all three of them, that awareness which manifests as them. Now, that awareness is called as prajnanam. And that awareness is there manifesting as my individual world and me. So that is what is there in the first line. In Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is spoken about at my level. That is at the level of Jiva. Next level, Brahmadi Pipilikan Tatanushu. Brahmaji, all the way down to an ant. Now that's speaking at the cosmic level. That same consciousness, which is called there as Samvit in the first line, is now called as Sakshini in the second line. Same consciousness. It is the pure witness consciousness of the entire Samashti Prapancha, which starts with Brahmaji and comes down all the way to an ant. Oh, this is just metaphorical thing. It's just a metaphorical explanation. Come down to an ant means there are smaller things than ants. But with those we cannot see with our naked eyes. So ant is, let us stop there. Otherwise you have to go and get a microscope. So metaphorically, from Brahmaji, means it is used metaphorically to say from the biggest thing in the universe, or the greatest being in the universe, all the way down to the most insignificant being in the universe. All things in this universe. And there's a the prota, jagat. That jagat word is used. It is that same consciousness which has been woven into all things, big and small, in the outer universe. The same Samvit, Sakshini. Now, that consciousness, Sa eva aham, I am. If I was just saying that it is that consciousness which has manifested as my waking, dream and deep sleep and all the things, whether in the outside universe, whether big or small, and here what is included is not only, see, many times people feel that that consciousness has only manifested as sentient beings. Sentient beings. That consciousness is manifested as everything, sentient and insentient. Because suppose I say this is insentient, dead. Insentience and deadness is a thought in my mind or not? It's a thought. And if it's a thought, again it is made up only of consciousness. Insentience and deadness, or inertness, or jaratvam in Sanskrit is called. That jaratvam, that is only from a certain superficial perspective. Jara and Chetan. If the thing is made up of pure consciousness, because it is a thought in my mind, then if we are saying from this standpoint that there is only one thing and that one thing is samvit, then what is Jara? It means we are talking at a different level here now, isn't it? The moment we invoke the oneness of the universe and call it samvit, then there is no such thing as Jara and Chetan. There is only Chetan, only consciousness. Jara and Chetan we use as a dvandva earlier in our study of Vedanta. We divide the universe into Jara and Chetan, things which are sentient and insentient. That is for easy analysis and understanding at a different stage. But here now we are saying it is that one reality which ujrimbate, which is playing, manifesting as all things in this universe, whether it's from the individual level or from the cosmic level. He said, Saivaham nacha drishya vastu iti. I am that consciousness, not drishya vastu. I am that consciousness which makes up everything, not the drishya vastu which we... Now see, this is a very, very interesting thing. Now, immediately the duality is again invoked. Because if drishya vastu, there is drik. Drik means seer, and drishya vastu means which is seen. So I am not the drishya vastu, I am the drik. But the first two lines should make us understand that the drishya vastu is also nothing but the drik. Nothing but the manifestation of the same consciousness. Same consciousness has manifested as the drishya vastu. What has happened until now? What happens until now in a jiva's life is that jiva thinks that he is this body, mind, intellect, which is drishya vastu, and he forgets that he is drik. That is his problem. He forgets that he is a seer. So, I am not the drishya vastu. Sa eva aha. Sa eva aham. I am that alone. That which is called sakshini, which is called as samvit. Ya samvit. I am that. Nacha drishya vastu. Iti drira prajna. The one who has such a firm knowledge that I am this sakshi, I am the pure consciousness. So that prajnanam word is what is being described. I am pure consciousness. And that consciousness is there at the individual level, that consciousness is there at the... When you talk about that consciousness at the cosmic level, that is Brahma. When you talk of consciousness at the individual level, it is called as prajna. So prajnanam Brahma. The two are one and same. This is the Mahavakya now. If we talk about consciousness at this individual level, it is called prajnanam. If we talk of consciousness at the cosmic level, it is called as Brahma. And here in the second line is at the cosmic level. You see? The two are one, and I am that. I am that consciousness. I am the one who lets. Now, Vidyaranya Swamiji describes this very nicely also. Now, he says, that by which we see, ikshate, jighrati, which the nose smells, by which the eyes see. This comes from the Kena Upanishad. That by which the eyes see, that by which the nose smell. Vyakaroti, by which we speak. So the karma indriyas also, by what they do. So another way to understand this is when he is describing his prajnanam there in Panchadashi, the thing which lends sentiency to Jadavastu, that is consciousness only. So the other way to say that, see, this BMI is Jada. Then how it knows this? If BMI is Jada, how it knows this? Well, the BMI has been consciousized by prajnanam. It has been consciousized, vivified. Or if you want to say, by prajna, by consciousness, BMI. And only when that happens, I am able to know this. So the ultimate thing which supplies no ability to this, because if the BMI is there and no consciousness, a dead man tell no tale. BMI, everything is there. The eyes are open also. But if consciousness is not there, that BMI will not be able to perceive anything. If the apparatus stays, because your brain and everything will be there, na? For a dead man, all the brain and everything is there. Consciousness is not functioning through that apparatus. He will not be able to know a thing. Only when consciousness is functioning through that apparatus, then he knows. Therefore, the ultimate knowing principle, that thing which supplies knowingness or knowability to that upadhi, is consciousness only. So that consciousness is called as prajnanam. When you inquire further, for example, in this verse, it is that consciousness which has manifested as my individual world, or which has manifested also as the cosmic world. Because the world is a thought in my mind. My mind is a thought in my mind. Correct or not? So we say also, my mind is confused. That means you know your mind. I know my mind or not? I know. So my mind is a thought in my mind. My body is a thought in my mind. My mind is clay. People say, huh? I lost my mind. He knows. If you're not too careful in this class, you might lose your mind also. To be careful. So, that thing which has manifested, so there it is described at a more basic level. That thing which supplies the upadhi with the power to know, that by which we know. The thing which allows the apparatus to know. And here, it is not only the thing which allows the apparatus to know, one step further. It is the thing which has manifested as the apparatus and all the things also known. This thing again will come up in Mandukya Upanishad. It's very nice. All right. So if anybody has this knowledge, he said that person is my guru. If anybody has this type of knowledge, that person is my guru. That is the idea. Then in the last line, Guru iti esha Manīṣā. That person is my guru. All right. We'll see we'll continue with this tomorrow. Not tomorrow? 6 p.m. tomorrow. Next class, 6 p.m. tomorrow.